Hey guys, so for this video I'll be unboxing Bright Night Girls Revive. This is another studio album from them in over I think 4 years. So it's been a while, and this will be an unboxing, review, and just a little bit of commentary regarding the Bright Night Girls. So if you want to stick around, stick around. I Before I start, if you're not familiar with my channel, I am a huge Bright Night Girls fan, an everlasting, and I was super excited about this comeback because they're one of those legendary K-pop groups that got to push Hallyu overseas. So I'll kind of talk more about that after I review the packaging for this and all of that. So like I do with every video that I film, I like making a comparison with the jewel case so people have an idea how big the album is. So this is how big it is. So here's the front and the back. And as you can see, and like how many people have commented on a lot of unboxing videos, Korea has updated their authenticity check sticker, which is the Comcast sticker, and I thought that the golden one looked better. This one just looks a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of harder to, easier to replicate if you're gonna make, knockoffs, but I don't even know if there's much of that in K-pop anyways. But I did not necessarily appreciate the new Comcast sticker. But we get a total of 10 songs in this album. You can see the track list right there. One thing that I would instantly comment on this album's packaging is that the cover seems to be very easy to get dirty and smudged. And I don't know, I just don't like when albums get like that, and it's pretty annoying. So that's kind of like a little negative there. Here's the disc. There's really nothing special about it. It's pretty basic. So one thing I do appreciate is that you get a detachable photo book, and here is the little pocket that you put it in. It says Bright Night Girls, so there's that. Now to the photo book, the track list again, and I love this concept photos. Let me try to zoom. I think that they always kind of bring it when it comes to concepts. Like, there's no denying and the amount of effort that comes into each of their comebacks. So and I think they all look absolutely stunning. Like, if you aren't aware, and actually after this part, the texture for the photo book changes. This is kind of like this cardboard feel, cardboardy, I don't know how to explain it, material. And it's a concept change because they had 2 title tracks for this album. And they have all the titles in Korean, but they didn't put the translations, like the translation to the titles, which is something a lot of K-pop albums have nowadays. So the credits, the back. So another little complaint that I have for this packaging. This photo book is a little bit difficult to attach. I mean, like put back into the little pocket, and that's like my. I'm just like afraid to get it damaged. So it just takes a couple of minutes or seconds to kind of put it back into it, like inside, and I feel like you are bound to damage this, and it's just a struggle. When I first took it out of the thing and then try to put it back, it took me a good minute to put it back. So that's kind of the issues with this pocket, which is just irritating. This does come with photo cards. I forgot where I put mine, because usually, and also I just noticed yet another thing about this packaging. There is, as you can see, it's not in there yet. There seems to be like something on the bottom that prevents this from going under. This unboxing is all over the place, but I guess I'll put this back afterwards so I can just talk about this album. Okay, so just the songs in general. I really appreciated the fact that they had 2 title tracks. You know, we got 2 music videos. The 2 songs were completely different. So you can see how they're really chameleons when it comes to just musical styles. One is more of a ballad type of song, and the other one is more funky. As a genre, I don't even know how to classify the other title track. This whole album is very cohesive. There isn't like a weird song that's just out of nowhere, because sometimes there are those like just random songs that they compile into an album, and it just doesn't seem to have like it doesn't seem like a cohesive body of work. But in terms of this is very consistent. You don't get any of the more, I would say, current like K-pop styles. And that's also something I wanted to mention when I was giving this album a listen prior to filming this unboxing. This doesn't sound like a K-pop album. And what I mean by that is that how I would classify K-pop is different than, I guess, everyone has it classified in a different way. But how I classified, it's a little bit more of that pop and sound that is just, I don't know how to describe it, like just a little bit more upbeat and kind of feeding off Western trends and combining them with like the sounds that they usually like and melodies that they like in Korea. So it's just that blend. And nowadays K-pop is a little bit more westernized, and honestly it sounds a little more just like American pop music, sung in Korean, from just my point of view. But this album is really unique in that it just seems like an album made for the Korean audience more than anything. You get a really old popular song by Jung-hwa, and I didn't get to double check, but I think I read somewhere that this album has a bunch of remakes, which is why I think it's called Revive. And if that's the case, I like how they were able kind of to remake the songs, if it's true, and make it more of a current sound, at least in the genre that it's on. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like it seems like more like an independent, jazzy, ballad type of release from them. I don't think they were necessarily trying to cater to the global K-pop audience. It's just more to their core fan base, which is mainly in Korea. Um, Obviously, they're mostly known for their much more upbeat songs, but in general, Bright Eyed Girls have this really vintage, modern vintage feel to their music that I really appreciate. They've evolved over time, to be completely honest. Um, I really My favorite albums from them are their earlier ones, but just that doesn't take away that from the other albums at all. They experiment a lot and they take a long time to develop albums because they're really picky with song choice, like song, just picking tracks for their albums, which is why they take a long time. And also, they're all kind of living their own life now, uh, which I completely understand. Like, I'm just happy that they release music every 3 to 4 years because it just shows how much they appreciate the fans, and they put a lot of effort into making albums, which is why I always look forward to it. Um, Now, what tracks stood out for the tracks that stood out for me were, because I don't remember the English translations for this. The two title tracks were good. They're I wouldn't say they were my standout tracks for the year. Like, I'm being completely honest. And Brown Eyed Girls are one of my ultimate K-pop groups of all time, so I'm very critical when it comes to them. And if they didn't necessarily deliver like the best song of the year or amongst that, that's completely fine. But the songs were good. Were they the best this year? No. Are they something that I would listen to? Yeah. But it's not just something that I would say, oh, I'm gonna listen to this song all the time. But if it comes on my playlist or something, I will listen to it. Or sometimes I just want to listen to more edgy type of songs, and that's when I would want to listen to these type of title tracks. The ballad was beautiful. The funky song was, it was strange, but I grew to appreciate it after a few listens. Um, the the fourth track is definitely my favorite in this album, and I really like the duet with Jonghwa, and I think it's Mirio. I think that's Mirio's solo song in this. Um, the eighth track is really good as well. And yes, and um, the overall the album is good. The genre is not this is not a K-pop sounding album. This is just more a little bit more laid back and gearing more towards what I feel like people in Korea who are much older would listen to. So, actually, now that I come to think of it, the best way to define this album, this is just more music for adults than it is to teenagers. That's the best way to explain it. I feel it's more mature, which is pretty obvious due to the fact that they're much older and their fans are much older as well. So I feel like that's why I can appreciate this album a bit more than I would have maybe like 6 years ago. When I like not even 60 when I was first getting into K-pop, I would not have listened to something like this. Now I I appreciate albums like this. It's just more of my cup of tea than something that's a little bit more manufactured and just more on the trendy side. So I'm really proud of them. And one thing I do want to say, I really, really, really hope that Kain makes her return. Obviously, whenever she's ready. There hasn't been any kind of clarity regarding them really doing much of a promotion for this, because I even tried to look if there was any live performances for this, and it just doesn't seem like it. I feel like this was just a gift to the fans. I saw some articles regarding this comeback, but I haven't read all of them. The girls just really want to give back to the fans, and it's just very clear with the sound of this album. And I just appreciate the fact that they still put out music, because they've been in the game for over 12, no, like 13 years now, and they still put out albums. They still put out new things that are not the same, but it still has that Brown Eyed Girls feel, and I'm just very proud of them. And Kain is one of my ultimates in K-pop, and she had an amazing solo discography. So if you haven't listened to any of that, please take your time and just listen to her solo work, because it's absolutely iconic in my eyes. And I'm really upset with the fact that their first studio album kind of got scrapped, because Carnival did not do as it was expected to, as well as it was expected to do, because she usually hits it out of the park when it comes to just her solo songs. And yeah, as for the other members, I know they're not very likely to promote as solos. Maybe Jia, who just here and there releases digital singles and stuff like that. And they're mostly ballad type of songs. I think she even had a song that was really good. I forgot what it was called. And Narsha, who had an amazing solo her first solo, and her little promotional song called Mamma Mia was really good. Same for Medio, but I feel like Medio and Narsha just wait till there's a Brown Eyed Girl something to release music, while Jaya has her song here and there. And as for Kain, she has developed this solid discography as a solo artist, and it's just really upsetting to see that we are not getting to see or hear more stuff from her. I know that I guess it's kind of a little bit rambling this video with some of her mental health and all of that. I hope she's doing much better now, and especially with Solis passing, she was one of Kain's best friends, so I hope she's doing all right, and that whenever she is able to and just completely there, I will be at the edge of my seat waiting for to hear any of her solo, because she has so much talent, and she always delivers when it comes to having a social message in her music videos. It's just absolutely incredible. So give all of their solos a listen, and yeah, I'm really happy that I got this album. Give it a listen, and support legends. All right, guys, bye.